Well, this week has seen the US President Donald Trump spiking international anger over his decision to no longer support the Iran nuclear deal. The move came just a day after President Trump announced plans to withdraw from the United Nations cultural organisation UNESCO, claiming the organisation has an anti-Israel bias.
Then there is the ever-present war of words between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un and the threat to global security from North Korea. Well, to discuss this and other issues dominating American politics, we're joined by former Republican and Democrat White House staffer, Professor Ed Blakely. Ed, welcome. Haven't seen you for a few weeks.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Yes, things are the same but different.
Yes, it is.
Let's start with the situation in North Korea then. Clearly, no solution to the crisis, certainly between the United States and North Korea and the war of words. Where do you think, or what do you think, Donald Trump's strategy is, or does he have one?
Well, he has two strategies. One of them is to position himself to go to war. And that's very clear now. He is, in fact, organizing U.S. troops and so on for that purpose. The other is to save his presidency, and sometimes they come together. Because Mueller is now really on the track. He's days away.
This is the Russian probe you're talking about.
The Russian probe. He's days away from announcing some very serious things. And if he does that, the president needs another diversion. Let's hope he doesn't go there. There are people who feel really that he'll do anything to save his presidency.
So is there resistance, though, from within the administration these strategies?
There is definitely resistance from the very top. We've heard some things from Tillerson already. Tillerson thinks he should be guiding American foreign policy. He thinks he should have the chief role. The president is not the negotiator. This is not a business deal. After all, this is American foreign policy, which requires collective activity. It's not just the United States. It's China, it's Japan, South Korea, and many other allies. So we have a situation where the president is carrying on foreign policy by himself. We also have the Secretary of Defense who's concerned that by doing this, he actually has to position troops because it may provoke action. So we're in a very difficult box right here.
And added to this is the politics, the internal politics in the White House, as far as Rex Tillerson is concerned, reportedly calling the president a moron.
I think that was a compliment.
Well, clearly there is friction. There's a lot of tension there between the two. I remember not so long ago you were saying that you expected Rex Tillerson to walk. Is that still your expectation?
It's still my expectation. If he's around after Christmas, I'll be surprised. As I just said, he wants to conduct U.S. foreign policy with the president, not have the president on one track and him on another. The president didn't consult him on UNESCO. That is the job of the Secretary of State, not the president to announce the withdrawal from UNESCO. And why? For Israel, we have had a policy regarding Israel for 20 years about withdrawing from settlements, etc. The bias in UNESCO is this is a human obligation. Israel, do it. And Israel's under a lot of pressure right now, having killed some Palestinians and so forth, having trials that didn't end up in the right place. So here's the president jumping in here, playing savior, withdrawing the U.S. from UNESCO, which has worldwide consequences. So Tillerson cannot live in that environment, and nobody can. Tillerson has to go. But remember, if Tillerson goes, we have to have someone as strong or stronger to replace him. And that's why Kelly and others are trying to broker a deal here. And I hope they can. It's for the best of the United States. If we don't have a solid team, remember I talked about the triumvirate, if we don't have a solid team leading the country, then the president gets his own way. And Tillerson is one of the leaders of that team.
All right, well, let's shift our attention then to the Middle East, because we also had the statement from President Trump regarding the Iran deal that was struck in 2015, that it won't be certified, and the response as well from the EU, Federica Mogherini, saying that the US can't have a unilateral action here. Again, the US pitting itself against other international efforts. Where do you see this particular situation being taken now with Trump's intervention there?
Well, first of all, he does not have the right under the law to withdraw the United States. That is a congressional activity. He has to go to the Senate. Has he passed anything through the Senate yet? And this would require a dominant vote of the Senate. He can't even get 50 votes in the Senate. So this is more a publicity stunt. Furthermore, the Iranians have been remarkably restrained, even in the face of this. Now, the EU are certainly on side here. The Iranians are really behaving themselves. Another distraction. These distractions have no content. Did he offer any evidence that the Iranians are processing nuclear fuel or doing anything? No. This is just his opinion. You don't run the United States on opinion. You run the United States on fact. And I'm talking about real fact, not fake facts.
And meanwhile, at home, the president has some natural disasters to deal with. We see the ongoing wildfires in California. We've seen a number of hurricanes rip across the Caribbean and smash into American territory. Puerto Rico, for instance. And we saw that war of words between those in Puerto Rico and in Washington. How's all this playing out?
Not well. Not well. FEMA is stretched to the limits already. The president should be trying to bring in the National Guard, trying to bring in additional aid, even some Canada and other places. I was just in Canada. The Canadians have great forest fire capacity. Australia has great forest fire capacity. That's where presidential leadership comes in, not throwing paper towels to people in a room. He has not shown any judgment, any compassion toward these issues, nor any leadership. And poor Kelly's now stretched between running the White House and running domestic affairs with respect to these disasters. Because that was his job. He was head of some Homeland Security. He's trying to do that job and the other job too. So he's really stretched. We have really serious problems in the United States. These storms and disasters are forecast for more storms and disasters. All the evidence is there. Instead of coming up with strategies to mitigate the future storms, he's making the fires politically even worse. You can be sure he will not visit California.
Professor Ed Blakely, wonderful to have you back with us on the program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.